Hello and welcome to the i3 lecture series hosted by the Masters in Digital Photography here at the School of Visual Arts. I'm Julie Grahame. Tonight we welcome fine art photographer Ali Rajabi. Ali is a Hasselblad Master whose photographs have been exhibited in the United States, Germany, Sweden, England, the Philippines, the UAE and Iran. He has been featured in international publications, including the British Journal of Photography, very dear to my heart, World Photo, Musée, and Layers. Ali has worked commercially with the likes of Ogilvy Mather, Motorola, and Profoto. In 2018, IKEA selected him as one of Hasselblad elite photographers for a worldwide project that introduced a curated collection of fine art photographs into homes around the world. I found an article in Fast Company magazine that used Ali's image to illustrate in their story, IKEA wants to replace your crappy posters with real art. And we will hear more about this very cool project tonight. Ali is also the creator of Lightroom and advanced Photoshop courses at the Tehran Institute of Technology and founded an online training center for photographers and graphic designers. He told me that he had met our fabulous founder, Katrine Eisman, in the early days of this master's program, which is now in the 15th year of i3 lectures. So not bad, and let's welcome Ali.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank the School of Visual Arts, Julie, Tom, and Marco for inviting me, and thank you all for being here today. It's always a privilege to share not just images, but the journey behind them, the questions, the doubts, the small consistencies that built into something larger. Also, I want to give a special thank you to Katrine Eisman. For the past 2 decades, she has been a constant source of inspiration to me. As the former head of MPS program here at SVA, her insights were always a treasure in my heart and something I carry with me. Let's give Katrine a round of applause for all that she's given to artists like me and the community. So what I'm going to share with you today is not a fixed formula. I'm always telling that this is no blueprint, and but it's a path, my path, which began, as I said, without any blueprints. It started with teaching, grew into photography and art, and carried me across borders and disciplines. Along the way, I've learned that being an artist is less about having answers and more about staying open to questions, to encounters, to collisions. So I invite you to come with me, not just to look at the projects, but to walk through the process of how they were born and why they exist and how they continue to evolve. This is me at the age of 21. I'm 44 now. My story as an artist didn't follow a blueprint. There was no plan. And I began with something much simpler, a curiosity. And a need to share what I was learning. And strangely enough, it began not with photography, but with teaching. And as I said, it was the early years of 2000, and it was the early rise of digital photography and teaching Photoshop. And as you know, I'm originally from Iran. I'm Persian. And on that time, we didn't have so much instructors in Iran. So on that time, I'm not sure about now, I assume they're still one of the biggest private institutes in Iran. I was lucky that they hired me as one of their teachers and instructors, and this is a digital, we had 2 programs at that time. It was Corel Draw and Illustrators that we still have. This is the last day of, judgment day of the graphic designers, the students. And it's, it's like, It's just kind of a nostalgia for me to go back into this image specifically is for 20 years ago. So I'm getting, I don't want to say that, but I'm getting more wiser. I don't want to say I just want to escape this specific word. Yeah, so yeah. Being in a class, it's about the creating energy in a room. It was about sparking curiosity. After 10 years that I was, so I don't want to talk too much about my self as being a teacher, but after a decade I started, and it was the rise of online training. It was in 2010, which is one of my other classes. I founded a website called Atrin Training Center for photographers, which Julie mentioned, and graphic designers. And I traveled across cities in Iran, holding seminars, and hundreds or maybe thousands of students passed through those online doors. And as a teacher, it gave me a discipline and the consistency and the patience that later carried me into photography and art. So being a teacher, it was like something grew inside me, and it was photography. It wasn't separate from teaching. It was fed by teaching, and photography gave me a way to answer them visually. I began to explore not just how to use a camera, but how to see, and eventually this path expanded from classrooms in Iran to galleries and projects and international audiences. And it was a transition for me from, and that was my team in Iran when we had seminars and classes, so I miss all of them. And yeah, it was a long journey. But the transition brought me to the United States. This was a huge transition. For the first time, I came to US as a tourist in 2010, and then I moved in 2013. And it was a new culture, a new language, a new way of thinking about art. And today, I'm pursuing my MFA at Lesley University. So this year is going to be my last year. My thesis is going to be in June 2026. So yeah, thank you so much. And for me, that's not just about earning a degree. It's about learning again and again. And that growth never stops. And I think it shouldn't for all of us. And I had some lectures and workshops in the United States. I was invited to expos. This is Germany, Photokina. They invited me for the Hasselblad. It was 4 days of artist talk. And this is the Hasselblad office in New York. And I always try to maintain my curiosity for teaching and talking. And it's a two-way connection. It's not just about me, it's about us. It's about the way we communicate. And when I look back at the trajectory that I had, it's a full circle. I'm thinking that this is not a luck, although we need luck. I cannot ignore that. So even with all the hard works and consistency that you might have, you need a little luck. So we might say that it's a right time, right moment, right place, but it shouldn't stop you, that consistency. So one thing that I learned here in the United States is to, I'm calling it, I was talking to Julie about the art of dealing with rejections. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. And you say, okay, so we're going to do this project and it needs a huge patience, specifically when you want to work with galleries or with the commercial work, the corporate, those giant corporates that lots of executives there, and they just want to throw, everyone has their own idea to talk about the project. So, and it was patience, it was showing up again and again. And I'm always telling that it's what you do in the dark that puts you in the light. And it's all connected. That's what I'm saying. And one thing that is very important is relationships that grow slowly. It takes time, it takes patience, persistence, and I always believe that you make your own chances. You always make your own chances by staying, by connecting, by doing, by repeating again and again. So that was the beginning of my journey. And if you have any specific questions, I'm sure we have enough time for Q&A that you want to ask for any specific. Please feel free to ask any question that you want to do. I'm going to get into one of the most important parts that we all do is starting a project. And every project, I assume, and you know that, begins differently. But one thing is always true. Starting is the hardest part. And it's about waiting. It's not about waiting for the perfect idea. It's about paying attention to what pulls you, what refuses to leave you alone. And for me, projects often begins with the questions, not the answers. So I'm looking always for the questions. And we have usually two starting points for doing a project. It might be personal or client. And one is when the client comes to you with a brief. So I don't want to stay on that too much, but it's very important for us that it's the commercial side of the job that you do as an artist. So you're a photographer, graphic designer, anything you want to do, video maker, I'm a filmmaker. And the personal projects, which together, both of them are valuable. And it doesn't matter which one is you want to do. And what really matters, I always say that, it's the vision that you bring to the project. So either it's personal or it's commercial. But what happens for me, and I just want to emphasize on that what I'm saying today might seem usual or normal, but these are very important for me as a person who wants to start a project. So it doesn't, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter it's personal or commercial based or client based work. So there are some specific keywords that I always look into when I want to start a project, and I wrote them for you. And these keywords always works for me. And which the important one is why. These are the elements that I return to all the time. And why is the part that comes sometimes with the urgency, sometimes it comes with the curiosity. So, and it can be serious, it can be playful, but always unavoidable. I mean, the why section is always unavoidable. And when I say why, I want to emphasize on that, it's not just about the urgency. A project can start because of necessity sometimes, or because of restlessness or image or thought won't leave you alone. It's very important. Sometimes it's responsibility. For example, when I'm talking about responsibility that you want to start a project, look at the photojournalism. And it's their responsibility to do that. They feel that. They feel that way, that it is their responsibility to going for doing a project. And it can be about witnessing something. So these are all the elements of why, even contradiction. And other times maybe it begins simply by playing, by experimenting. And all of these are valid whys. They're all important. And what matters is that you listen when they arrive. That's very important for us, to listen to those whispers. So you know the other one, the how is the method and the structure, your tools, the knowledge, the thoughts, conscious, subconscious, they're always linked, and you have to have a dig into your subconscious sometimes to understand why you're going to do this. The creativity part and the concept, I'm not sure if I have the concept here, is what gives the project coherence. It's the architecture of the project that holds everything together, the concept that you want to do. And the consistency, as I mentioned, so you repeat it again and again until something finally opens for you as an artist. So, and you know the others, so the project deadline, the long-term, short-term, how you evolve. Even by repeating, you know you evolve. I was thinking about the talk today, and I just started to put everything together, and it finished, and I came back, and I started to watch it again. I read it again, and I changed some stuff, because when you come back, something might sparks in your mind, and but there's one interesting thing that when it comes to creating, our mind works with three main functions, which I always believe in this tree. And it was about, so anytime I talk about doing a project, so these three is always on the spotlight of my talk, which we all have. So we all have, our brain is, have three main functions: the attention network, and which this switch on when you need to focus deeply on something. So it's your attention to the specific subject matter that you have, and you want to do that. And then the imagination, I don't want, you can read them, you can take a picture of it. And the imagination network, this is active when we picture the future or recall memories from the past. And it's interesting because we all, so probably all of you heard the word neuroplasticity. So when we learn something new, so our neurons gets connected more and more, and then you grow as a person. So when I was in Iran, I was living in Iran, everything I knew about the United States was through the media, the cinema, the documentaries. But when I moved here, so I learned more and more. So that data, that's what I'm saying all the time, that data changes in time. And your perception change in time. So this is what we need to understand. And the flexibility network, this acts like a bridge, moving us back and forth between the attention and imagination. So it's a bridge. So you have a data, you learn something new, you move back and forth. And you can train. So an idea, it can be just a spark, the data that you have, and you want to connect those data together. And the more elements you collect, the more experience, the more skills, the memories you gather in time. And this combination becomes powerful, and you can make more. And sometimes it's about seeing the relationships where others, people can't see. So it's interesting because all of us might have the same data, but the way we see those data are different. That's very important, that how we can connect those data together. If I want to make it concrete, I don't want to talk more than this. I want to jump into the project. And let's get into the project. The first project that I brought is the project called Collide. And this is a long statement about the project, but the most important part is the why section for me, and why I did this project, why I wanted to make those images. And it was the question how identity formed when culture, politics, religion, and media collide within us. So because every day we bombard with information that we have no control, we consume the data, and we grow up. And if I want to make it simple, I'm not sure if you read all of this, but you can take a picture. Let me straight to the first image of tonight. That when you grow up in a specific country, in a specific community, reading specific books, the internet, you consume the data, so you grow up. And in time, you think that anything you think is yours, it belongs to you. But I'm going to challenge this all the time because I don't know. I have to go back and to see if there is a possibility that I can change them. And how much identity do we build ourselves? And it's interesting because when you see, and in this specific project, I use the blackest scarf when you see is a symbol in the Middle East. It's a cultural, religion, form of dress of wearing that people, ladies have. Not all the ladies, but some of them. And it's completely related to religion. And I'm always asking this question, can this identity be independent? It's worth to explore it. And what I wanted to do this project was about pairing these situations, and I named the project Collide, with the Middle Eastern culture and identity with the Western culture, which sometimes is a little provocative. And I wanted to see that if these two meet each other, is it possible for them to make a common ground? It's silent. The images you see are silent, but they're profoundly loud because we don't know what. And let me tell you one thing, which I had a discussion with one of my friends. He's a very great artist in Iran. And we were talking, it was like 12, 13 years ago. And we were discussing that an image is like a written textbook. It's how you read that image is based on what you know. How you read a photograph is based on your experiences, your knowledge, what you know about that. And if you want to read a photograph properly, you have to know what's going on. And it is very important for us. And let me come to this day, how do you make an image with AI? By prompt. That image is a text. So, and the things that we discussed 12, 13 years ago is about an image is a written text. And today we see that if we want to make an image with AI, we have to write something and then it creates for us. And so this, usually I don't talk too much on my photographs. So I try to stay a little quiet and silent, but here are some of the images that I want to talk about. So, and what it means. And maybe you have this question in your mind that, do you have a specific reason that you did this? I have a very specific reason that why I chose these places, but I'm not going to share them with you. Absolutely not. Because it's up to you to make that assumption or connection. And I don't want to give you a clue or a thread that you follow. I just want you to delve into the realm of my images and my photography projects. And I don't know how we can read this image. Specifically, and so, yes, some of them are very harsh political point of view or cultural point of view. And all of my images have names. You can see them on my website, but specifically this image, the name of this image is Your Logic is Terror. That's the name of the image.
What is it?
Your Logic is Terror. So with all that happens in the world today, in the United States, in the Middle East, in anything that you can imagine, I don't know how you want to interpret these images. So I don't want to have enough time. And another image, I took this image. It was in the middle of COVID. So there's a sign there that, which I, I'm going to tell you the lady that you see, the beautiful lady, you can't see her face, but this is Mary. She's standing in front of, she's the partner in crime. So, and yes, and it's important because you should know how to wear this, scarf, I mean. And let's go to the next one. And Julie, if they have questions, they can ask now, or yeah, we have to wait until the end. So that's the rule of the. Okay, so just wait, then write your questions, and then I don't want to ruin the. And another one. And yes, and some of them are in New York. Yes, so and it's interesting because these images are large size, and for example, I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to get into the talk about the details, but for example, I waited like 15 minutes to have this abortion word here because it was an ad that repeatedly changing, and nothing. That's okay if you remove anything on your images. That's okay. But I was lucky that it was Sunday morning in New York City, and you know Sunday mornings are usually less crowded, so no one was in the image. And this one as well. And this one was in the parade. I took this image in 2019. I assume it was before COVID. And it was interesting, the reaction of the people who was passing by. And I really like that. So there's still 5 more images of this series that are very sensitive to make. But I have to do them finally. So it's not finished yet, but the name of this image is Lebanon. So sometimes I give a little clue. And another one. And the other one. And it was interesting because every time I posted these images on my Instagram, the reaction was on fire. I mean, I received so many different messages from different people. I mean, and it was interesting. It was only one image, and some people thought it's attack on the democracy. Some people sent me 2 of them sent me death threats. It was interesting because the way you see these images here probably is different the way of people watching it in home, in Iran, I mean. So I don't. If you want to have your questions, I'm happily to say that it's in Washington, D.C. We are all martyrs. That's the name of the image. And this one too. Yeah, and another one. And yeah, so the name of the project was Collide, and this is one of those series that still, if I can make that final 5 images, so then I'm going to be done with them. That's okay. So let's get into the next one. And here's the thing. When I wanted to make the project, I mean, in some location, specifically on the Trump Tower. So you don't see that here, but it was the time of his first presidency. And we had 2 guards on the left and right. And it was I took this image at 5:45, I assume, or I don't know, 6:45, I'm not sure. 6:40, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. So, good. 6:40, and when I put Mary in the middle of the street, and with her dress, her scarf, long scarf, we call chador. That's the name of the chador. And I had a bag, and I put my hands to bring my camera out, and they were like, it was like a moment of tension. I was like, hey, listen, this is just a camera. I want to take a picture. So, and they were like, okay, you can do whatever you want to do. But that's what I'm trying to say, how you perceive, how you understand, how you learned. So I'm always telling that, okay, if you grow up in a religious family, if you grow up in a family that is not, I don't want to say atheists, but spiritual, for example. So the way you grow up, it's completely different. And I always believe that we have to recall. We have to go in and ask the questions again and again. Because, and I'm going to tell you a very specific example on my next series, we shouldn't stick to the preconceived ideas that we have. It's very important for us. Anyway, let's get into the next project, which I'm really happy to talk about it. It's about, the name of the project is Absence is Not the Void. That's the name of the project. And it was to explore whether absence erases or transforms and how memory and imagination feel what is unseen. So if I want to be a little, give you more details, which might be interesting to you. There is when I moved to the United States, there was this feeling that my friends and my family is at the starting point of, I don't want to say forget me, but we were not so close anymore. That was a feeling that, and it's interesting because we have a proverb in Iran that emphasizes on this, which says, and I'm going to simplify it. It says, who departs from the eye departs from the heart. That's the problem. So when you are not close anymore, we forget you. Okay, that's the little. And if I want to go back to that why section, that was the main reason that I wanted to make this. And it was interesting because I do this project as a diptych, one image in the United States, because the United States is my home now. I became a US citizen 2 years ago. And I lived here for the past 12 years. So, and that's my motherland when I was born. So it might be a little funny, but let me tell you this. So when everyone asks me about that, if you want to think about Iran and the United States, so no one asks me which one you want to choose, but it's always, I'm always telling this, that when you were born in a country, it's your mother. It's my mother. Iran is my mother. And the United States is going to be my wife. This is a country that I choose. I love them both. So you grow, so you cannot ignore your mother, but you have your wife too. So you love them both. So, and do not fight with each other, guys. I mean, it was, I don't want to get into some, I don't want to say negative stuff, but that 12 days war was very intense for me. Because as a person, that was my home country, and I had everything was cut off. And here, it was United States, the country that I love, I can say, with all the ups and downs. I didn't want them to get involved, but anyway, they got involved. So that's how politics works. So anyway, so let's get into the images. And for this specific project, I had to came back to Iran. It was exactly 2 months before that war started. And this series is my attempt to answer that questions. And the first time, and there's a very great example of sometimes you want to show your statements or your writings to your colleagues or your friends who can understand what you do. At first, I was written about the United States and Iran in my statement. And when I showed them to some of my friends, colleagues, and other artists, suddenly at the moment, they just came to their preconceived ideas. Oh, it's about Iran and the United States. So it's about comparing these two places, nature, politics, and that was not my intention. And you might not know that which one is US or which one is Iran. So, and these are all the memories, the spaces that I had. I filled with my imagination, with the memories that I had. Some of them are landscapes, some of them are empty places and untold stories that I have in my mind. It's a memory of my past, wonder, loss. All of them came into these images. And they're all matters to me. So it's not just about you see directly. It's more than that. And what it asks you to remember or imagine. And for me, absence carries a transformative power. It's a reminder. When you get into the place, even an empty place, it's a reminder of what you have in your memories, that they are not truly gone. Let's get into, that's me. That's me when I was, 1 year old. And these are the negatives of my father. So, yeah, so I spoiled it for you. And the other ones. So sometimes they are literal, the images that I put them together. Sometimes they are in talk. Sometimes they're juxtaposed. And how an artist wants to articulate. It's based on what they have and what they made for themselves through the years. And the other image. Some of them are intense, and which needs more attention, or they're not so. Another one. It's interesting because when you want to do these type of projects, it makes you to dig into your archives too. You go back in time and you want to know, okay, the images that I have, oh, now they're working into this specific concept that I didn't know before. And that's how you evolve as a person. That's how you grow as a person. And another one, and the others. And let's go to the next one. But let me give you one specific example, because I want you to know. But I'm just going to tell to our audience today. I'm not going to tell with the others. So everyone who sees this on YouTube. Yes, yes, yes. So that is a pool when I had when I was 10 years, 11, 12 years old. And it was the pool that when I came out, I heard that my grandfather passed away. So I went and recalled that moment and that feeling. And it's interesting. So I don't want to explain, but sometimes you should know that the image that you see is more than colors or composition and the other ones too. And they're trying to talk to each other, these diptychs. And we don't know which one is US, which one is Iran, which one is important, how much is important, and why they're important. And there are some elements that might be cool to see. Yeah. That, is not United States. Some of them are so tense for me. So tense. It's like yeah. This was the second project that I wanted to talk about. I hope that each of these images can be a little helpful or help you to communicate of what I see. The other project that I brought today is very dear to me. I mean, all of them are very dear to me, but this one is one of those that I love it very much. But before I get into the details of this project, I have to talk a little bit about the place that I did this project. So it was like 5 or 6 years. It took 5 or 6 years for me to finish this series. And this is a place in Iran called Lut Desert. It is the UNESCO heritage, one of the hottest places on earth. You can search on that, search on the web. And silence. I mean, the name of the project is The Land of Silence. And it is one of my early projects that I did it in the past 15 years. Exactly, I took the first image, it was in 2009. And the place that I live is the capital of Iran, Tehran, on that time. And this is southeast of Iran. It's like 800 miles that you have to travel. And I traveled like 15 times to get the images that I wanted. It's very isolated. It's safe. It's safe. And it's untamed. Just wanted to show you how the atmosphere is, how the place is, and the scale of that lady in the middle is married too. Yeah. She was always within all the years. And this the storm, sandstorm. And this is me standing in the top of one of those yardangs. They formed with sands and salt and water in millions of years. I hope we could go together. I'm so sad that we cannot. I mean, you cannot. I'm not sure I can either. So, no, I'm kidding. I can. But no. But there's no guarantee. I can go, but I don't know what will happen. Nothing happens. At least till now, nothing happened to me. Till now. I have to mention that. But that's okay. So you go to your to the home of your mother. So anything that happened, it's your mother. Anything that happened, it's your mother. Okay, it's your mother. You cannot throw it away. It's impossible. Anyway, let's get back. I have a video to show, which I'm going to show it after I finish the images, because let's see it right now, because I just want you to feel the space. And yeah, I just want you, and no one is, I mean, it's vast. And yeah, so, and that image on that sandstorm is like, yeah, it was like, and I was like, take my camera out. I don't care that if the sandstorm kills my lenses and sensor. I just want to make the shots. So, and you need to do that. Let's get back to the images because I don't want to lose time. I just want to finish everything we started. So, this is it was a night for me that I was spending at Lut Desert, and all of a sudden when I came out of the tent, so which you can read, it was like a hallucination at the first sight. So these giant rocks turns off and turn off suddenly. I think it was a full cloud with the full moon on the sky. That's my feeling, but it turns on in just 2 seconds and it goes off. I was like, you're on drug or something. I was like, what's going on? So I was like, and then I called my friends and I said, listen, this is crazy. So, and I cannot imagine. But when I came back, it was the whispers in my mind and my brain that, listen, you have to make that night again. I mean, it's not impossible. I think it's almost impossible because the camera can't capture because you don't know where it happens. And if you want to have the shutter open, it's 2 or 3 seconds, so you don't get that feeling. Technically, it's almost impossible. So I wanted to recreate that feeling. I wanted to recreate that imagination. I mean, that silence, that ephemeral moment that happened to me, and share it with the others, because it was something that I witnessed which I will never forget. I'm not going to forget that night. So, and all the images that you see are the recreation of that night. And it pulled me into that quiet reverie. They are not documents. They are just the reflections of what silence on that night can reveal when you give it to yourself. When you give yourself to that specific moment. So honestly, it was the blurred vision of what is scientific, what is real, what is not. And this is one of my exhibitions that the Ministry of Culture in Iran completely bought the whole project for their, and they wanted to show. And yeah, so this one and this one are recent. It was in my last travel, because when I go to Iran, I go to the desert, probably 90% of the time. So this one and this one, I wanted to have more. And yeah, lots of walking, exploring. These are those sandstorms. You saw the video. And This is real. I didn't add it an image. This cloud is real. And yeah, so many miles into the middle of the desert. So there's going to be the last. So I think I talked too much.
No, you're perfect.
I'm so sorry.
You are perfect.
And but I'm trying to make it very compressed and packed. It's about navigating the fine art world and the commercial world, because there's this assumption that if you want to work in the fine art world, like museums, galleries, and these projects that are driven by vision, doesn't have any place into the commercial world. But I assume because commercials are, or working with the clients, goes to agencies, deadlines, collaborations, their point of view, they want to pursue, which they do, but you have to resist. And driven by client's goal. So that's what I'm saying. And we often divide these two worlds, which sometimes I think we shouldn't. Although it depends on how you want to do or what you want to do. At least for me, I didn't want to get into lots of commercial work tonight, but there one specific image that I want, that crappy posters, the series that we talked about, and it's interesting because I'm going to share with you. This is a project that there's some things that I want to mention, which is very important for us as an artist, as a photographer. How you make a connection, it's up to you. But I always tell people that try every path, try every connection. Competitions, portfolio reviews, talking with critics, the editors. I mean, I had the privilege to have spent a personal private class with Stella in 2016 and learned a lot in the process, learned so much lessons. And I think we always should be open to learning. That's how we can move forward. And and sometimes for me, when I mentioned there's no blueprint for me, one of the things that happened to me when I won the Hasselblad Masters Award for the Hasselblad company in 2016, so that's why it's important for you to sometimes be in the competitions. It opens one door for me. That was a collaboration, long collaboration between me and Hasselblad. And we did some projects together, specifically this project, which was for the IKEA, but it came through Hasselblad. Because they had a connection with Hasselblad. That's the way that they wanted to see the photographers and the projects. And the theme that, as I said, I did this project for the book, Master's book in 2016. The theme was, maybe you like to hear this story because I like it personally so much, and it resonates with me. The theme for the book was inspire. They gave us one word. The theme is inspire, go and shoot. That was the whole project. And we had to make some images and send to Hasselblad. They edit the images and they publish it in a book. I always thought about, okay, what's going to be inspiring in New York City? And I'm going to tell you, taking photographs in New York City is one of the hardest things that you can do, because it's, I mean, everyone with cell phones, I mean, it's, you go and search NYC, there are tons of images. But then something came to my mind that my father told me when I was a teenage. And he told me, God split his blessing in the early morning. That was That was what he said to me when I was 16, 17. So listen, you have to wake up in the morning and go, and because God put the money from the sky in the early morning. I was like, okay, so the inspiration is on the daily lives of the people. Every day we wake up, when the sun rises, it's a fresh start for us, even those who lost. I came out, I shoot, I finished the project. 2 years later, the IKEA chose one of those images. That I took in the early morning. And that was the image for the day life. It was interesting because it was like a thunderbolt in my mind that my father told me that God displayed his blessing in the early morning, and now the money comes. The money comes, and it's a good money. And it was a limited edition project, a limited edition prints, worldwide, 384 branches, and it was sold out in 1 week. And that was one of the projects that I did with the Hasselblad. The other ones that I did with Hasselblad, with the IKEA, the other ones that I did with Hasselblad was their worldwide campaign in 2022, which I'm going to show you a video. It's a 2 minutes video, and then I'm going to be done, and we can have Q&A together. So, and I'm going to, it was about the new camera, X2D on that time. And it was so much back and forth between me and Hasselblad because they chose me, and I told them, listen, this is how I work, this is how I do. That's why sometimes I tell you have to push. And you have to make a common ground. And they told me, listen, we need 10 images. I thought, okay, 5 based on what you want, 5 based on what I believe to do. And we made that common ground. So if they said no, that's a very important question. I would convince them to not to do that, which I did. Because at the first they told me there's not going to be a price. They didn't want to pay. They just told me, okay, we give you the camera. So listen, okay, that's the basic things that you have to do. Okay, you're going to give me the camera. That's fine. But what about my process as an artist? What about the journey that I want? What about the time that I want to spend? So you have to compensate. And there was a back and forth about that too, because there were 2 other photographers which they didn't accept that, I'm going to tell you, which they didn't take the money. I was the only photographer that told them, listen, it shouldn't be like this. And sometimes you have to push, but you have to make sure that you push the right person. The right person, it's very important. That's important, that how you make the connections. Okay, I don't want to talk too much, so let's see this video, and I'm done.
My name is Ali Rajabi. I'm a photographer, Hasselblad Master based in New York City. Every photographer knows about the Hasselblad brand. Every photographer, no matter if they are an amateur, enthusiastic, or professional. Because the history of photography is on the shoulders of Hasselblad. When I look at these new lenses, I was amazed by the quality. You can change the settings of the camera by one ring, and at the same time you can shift to manual focus, to autofocus on the rings, which was so impressive. And I was amazed by the speed of the focusing system. I mean, I didn't miss a shot on the streets. I didn't need to think about taking pictures again, and that was amazing. I really liked about the camera, which is very interesting for me as a street photographer who sometimes take pictures in low light, is IBIS, and it was very, very helpful for me to make the shots in low shutter speed, handheld. One thing with Hasselblad, which is very obvious, is the quality of the image. The amount of details that you can post-process, you can see, and you can take care of them is insane. It gave me the opportunity to move one step ahead as a professional photographer. And also, it gave me the opportunity to explore a different type of camera, which is quite different with the other brands in terms of producing a high quality image. So it was all joy for me.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Oof. It was,
Thank you.
No, thank you so much, thanks. It was a pleasure. Oh God, I can breathe. Yeah, so one thing that I wanted to say is when you start, so one of the benefits of sometimes getting into this type of commercial world is the exposure. The exposure that you get is important, and I encourage you to do all of the I mean, not all the competitions, some of them just you have to pay $25, $30. So maybe some of them might go, but try to enter one of those that are free for you and go to, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hands up for questions, please.
Please
Okay.
do not ask hard questions.
Soft questions only. This microphone is for our recording. It does not project your voice, so please speak into the mic and also speak up.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really liked the first set of work that you shared, and it kind of made me think about Abbas Kosari, and I think he has a series about women, women doing military practice or police practice.
Yes.
And since you're talking about constant learning, is there any Iranian photographers that you're learning from?
Absolutely. There's so many. There's so many great Iranian photographers that. Here's the thing I have to tell, which is both fascinating or interesting, but sometimes it's unfortunate for me as a person. You heard that I said I'm on my MFA program. I'm a self-taught photographer. I didn't go to university. But I was lucky enough, and I don't want to give you the whole story, that Lesley University waived my bachelor based on my resume and experience. So technically, I didn't went to university in Iran. I was not in a close connection with the other photographers, so academically. But one of the, I can mention two names, and both of them are international. One of them are fine art photographer, which is a very close friend of mine, and I hope he sees this video, is Mehdad Afsari. He's a very, he's a philosopher, I think, instead of just being a photographer. And the other one that I have a good relationship with him is Hossein Fatemi. He's a photojournalist. He's the director of Middle East Images, and he's in Washington, D.C., and they specifically work on the Middle East conflicts. Different countries. And every time we talk, every time we share the ideas, there's something new to learn. And in the past couple of decades, if I want to tell you that there was some specific Iranian photographers that I followed, it's going to be a lie, because I didn't. But they were always on my radar. And I look at their images, but I had no close connection with them. And there are some great international artists like Shirin Neshat or Nusha Tavakkolian, or there are many other photographers that recently came into the play specifically because of things that happens in Iran and Middle East. But but these two persons that I mentioned, they're both famous, great artists. Hossein is the winner of the WordPress Photo too. And all the time, I share all the time the projects and the details. But on that term, that as I said, I was a self-taught, and I was mainly focused on American photographers. I mean, Jeff Wall was one of my heroes, Crutzen, Nick Brandt, I mean, if Eggleston, I mean, Joel Meyerowitz, I mean, I can name all. I mean, and I constantly watch them, Soul Litter, so many great photographers.
Next. Yes, ma'am.
It's not a hard question or a soft one. It's a stupid one.
No.
I'm mortified.
No questions is stupid. No question.
I'm mortified it's being taped. What is the light source in the night photos in the desert?
They were not night. They're all days. They're all days. They're daytimes. Okay, because I knew that you might want to ask this question. I mean, not you, I mean in the audience. I hope I brought them. I think I brought them. I can show you, it's interesting because the exhibition that I had was not just a usual exhibition, they were all light boxes. It was a performance, and it was limited to 35 people. And as soon as 35 people came into the gallery, we closed the door. There was a music and narrations, and all of them were off. It was exactly like the experience that I had in the desert. And with the narration and the music, one image started to pop up and started to light up, and people go towards and then it turns off, and the other one turns on. It was exactly like the feeling that I had. So that was the exhibition. So it was in Iran. I really tried to make that happen here, but still not, I mean, it didn't happen yet. I'm trying to knock more doors. I'm not sure if there's any door left, but maybe there's new one comes. But yes, this is, let me show you the, yeah, this was the setup, and we had the wires, and there was a specific room that we could control the music and the light. And you can see Mary again here with me. Let me show you the, for example, this is two images that I can put them together that you can see. Yeah. Yeah, because it's impossible to make the image that night. You can't. I mean, it's not going to happen anymore. I mean, when? I don't know when it happens again. It's just once in a lifetime. So I had no chance. It's not a usual nature event that you go, okay, I go at a springtime and that a specific day, and I'm going to stay in desert in the middle of the night, and then it happens. I don't know if it happens again. So, but I tried to go on, that's why I traveled 15, 16 times.
Okay, but so they're both daytime.
So what makes it dark?
Yes, this is, these are the same image. I took the shot,
Okay.
and then I processed it the way that I saw on that night.
Great, we've got it now, haven't we?
Yeah, if I want to show you another one.
She and I have got it now.
No, okay. I can give you, yes.
Let me just see
There you
how
go.
many more people have a question. We got a couple more questions. Okay, go finish up. And we'll
Yeah, that's the, I mean.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Lauren, don't ask hard questions.
It might be one.
No.
So this is specifically with your project Collide.
Okay,
So
let
you
me go back
said-
to Collide, sorry.
Yeah, so you said that you wouldn't prompt our analysis of your work with your own opinion. But are you ever scared or worried that without context, your pieces can be perceived or used so contradictory to its intended purpose or its intended meaning?
That's true. I can accept that. I can accept that. I mean, I know what you're talking about, which had happened to me many times, specifically for the Collide project. But it's not in my hand, because if, yeah, you choose.
Where's your mouse backwards?
Which one do you want to choose?
Left-handed? I was going to do the Lincoln.
Lincoln. Okay.
That was
Yeah, Lauren, no, let me explain more. So I accept that because it happened to me. And when it happened the first time, I was like, what are you talking about? This is not my intention. So, and I stopped to explain more and more because even in my statement, not now, but the first time I wrote, I added that it's up to the viewer to understand how. Then when I revised the statement, I removed that part. Because part of exploring a project is to read the statement of the artists. And we know that sometimes there are projects that might not have that too much statement. But this one was one of those that, because I'm not a fan of long statements myself, personally. But this one was one of those series that I had to, based on what you're saying. And it was not that too long. I changed it in time. But this is that I can accept, Lauren. I cannot do anything for it. I know what you're talking about. And it happened to me. And that's okay. And that's okay. If they have a problem, we can sit in table and talk like grump. You know what I mean? You know, yeah, that's the point. So did I answer your question? Okay.
Bill.
I really liked all of his stuff.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
This series is really very, very incredible.
Thank you.
But I want to go back to the desert. I really like your
sure.
processing, your day for night situation here, the way you processed it. That first image is really dramatic. Now that I saw the original.
Which one? This
one,
one?
yeah, that one. Now, what format, what camera did you shoot it with?
Interesting question. And now I'm working with medium formats. Now, today. But on those days, I had my Canon 5D Mark III. Okay. That was the camera I had. Even one of these images, because I did it in time, is crop sensor 7D. Okay. So it's not, yeah, so I hope I answered your question.
The thing that blows my mind is seeing the original and then seeing
the process.
Your interpretation and creation. Your inspiration came through in the finished piece. I understand that. When I shoot nature, that happens to me. I see it one way, but when I go to edit it, the true image comes. But yours was such an extreme that it's amazing to see them both together.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, thank you.
Great. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill. Any last ones? Yes.
Yeah, hi, hello.
Hi. Hello.
And thank you for coming out tonight.
It's a pleasure for me to be here.
But beyond, when you talk about these projects, you talk about them in lengths of time. You said this one in the desert was 6 years that you worked on.
Five.
5 or 6. Yeah. When do you know when a project is finished? You know exactly when they start, but when do you know when you're about finished?
When I'm satisfied. Honestly, when I'm satisfied. When I think that there's nothing more that I can add. When the time comes that I think it's going to be a repetitive task. You know what I mean? And every project needs a stopping time. I mean, if you want to think that the project is going to be ongoing, it's not going to finish. I mean, there's going to be a time that you think, okay, this is enough. Maybe I can add later, I don't know, okay? But usually for me, it's about when it comes to a body of work, so it's about 15 to 25 images. It's not a rule. I don't want to put an emphasis that this is a rule that you have to follow, no. Currently, I'm doing a project. It's a daily project that I post on my Instagram every day. Every day. I'm on day 1,867. So it's like 1,867 days, 72 days, I'm sorry, that I post on my Instagram every day. And the name of the project is Days Are Gone. And it's on my Instagram stories because these are the moments that, like the day and night, they're gone. And if someone sees on that day, they share something with me and they know my feelings, or it might be a snapshot, it might be on the street, it might be from my archive, because sometimes it happened that I did it in my archive. And this is an ongoing project. But for this specific type of projects, so I always know that there's an starting point, an ending point, and for example, for the Collide project, I wrote some of the ideas, exactly the images that I want to make, like 12 of them or 13 of them. And in the process, I thought that, okay, maybe I can add maybe 8 more or 9 more or 6, 7 more. And it comes with research. It comes with being in the middle of doing the project. It comes with sharing with those people that understands you and they're expert and they know you, because sometimes they give you insights and you never thought about it. Oh, I can do this too. And it takes time, like 1 year, maybe 1 year and a half, because doing a fine art project sometimes is not it's not like a commercial work. I mean, as I said, long term, short term, the commercial works, it's a deadline, you have to finish the project. But for this one, honestly, because every time I went to the desert, I couldn't get what I wanted. Like 4 images in one trip. And it's not easy. Now it's so much easier to get in there, because the last time I was there, it was they close to the desert. I saw some new hotels, or not big hotels. Just rooms. But it's the name of the hotel on them. But on that time, we had to live in the house of the locals, and they share the house with you. They give you room, and they're so kind and nice. They make you food. Yeah, that's true. They make you pay, but it's they open their doors. It's kind of a business for them. So I hope I answer your question. Yeah. I don't want making the specific project images for the project gets into the repetitive loop. Yeah.
Taking the long route.
So I had a question about the doing diptychs.
Yes, absolutely.
Was it your idea? Because I had a friend when I went to SVA, she did diptychs specifically, and she shot them to be diptychs. Did that idea come while you were doing it, or did you see 2 together and you're like, oh my gosh, I should be doing, that this is a sister to this, and I want to, how did that work out?
No, it happened in the process of making of it. It happened in the process of digging my archives. And now I had no intention to make it diptychs first, but it happened in the process of it. And I had, for this specific project, I had a mentor that I discussed this with her, and she discussed this with me. One day we were exploring the images, and then we put the images together, and in the middle of the process, we thought, okay, maybe it's good to have it as diptych. And she pushes it, because she was the one who pushed that this idea might be better than doing as a single project, single shot. And yeah, it was little out of the comfort zone for me at that time, because your energy, it's because then they have the narratives and the context must follow what you have in your mind. So it's not going to be easy. But single shots is much easier. Yeah, it happens in the process. It was not my first intention. My first intention was to take some single shots. But as soon as I started the project, as I mentioned, digging the archives, then it evolved. Yeah, it happens all the time, and the project evolves in time. And it's normal.
And we'll leave it on it's normal. Thank you so much, Ali.